Hey pharmacist, there's a new shingles vaccine in town, and it's called Shringrix. It's set to become released early 2018, and it's for those who are 50 years and older to help protect them against herpes zoster, also known as shingles. Over these next few minutes, I'm going to go through this vaccine, and I'm going to tie in how it relates to Zostavax II, which is the other shingles vaccine, which has been on the market for quite some time now. Okay, so let's start. Number 1, the type. Unlike Zostavax, which is a live attenuated vaccine, Shringrix is a non-live adjuvant vaccine. Just as a recap, an adjuvant is an ingredient that's added to a vaccine that helps a patient build a stronger immune response within their body. And so that can be particularly important for our senior populations who tend to have a weakened immune system and would really benefit from something like this. In fact, when you order the vaccine to your pharmacy, you'll notice that it'll come in 2 vials. So one vial will be that lyophilized powder, fancy word for freeze-dried powder, which is the antigen, and the other vial will contain that adjuvant suspension. Both should be kept in the fridge, and when you're ready to administer it to the patient, that suspension of that adjuvant will be mixed to the antigen powder, and that's what will create your total vaccine. Number 2, number of doses. So Shringrix, unlike Zostavax, which is just 1 dose, requires 2 doses. Now this can get a bit tricky because the second dose has to be administered anywhere between 2 to 6 months after the first. So that's a pretty narrow window, and it's important that the patient does get that second vaccine to ensure maximum efficacy and duration of protection. Number 3, efficacy. Now this one is really important to keep in mind. With Zostavax, you tend to see a decline in vaccine efficacy. So it tends to work at about the 51% level for those who are around 60 years of age and older. But when you get to the 70 years of age and older, that decreases. And then when you reach 80 and older, you get to about less than 20% efficacy of Zostavax. And so you have this paradox where as you age, you're more likely to get infected with herpes zoster or shingles, but the vaccine doesn't tend to work as well. So with Shringrix, they try to combat this. And what you'll see is that there's maintained in the studies that have looked at this, over 90% of protective efficacy against herpes zoster in those who are 60 plus, 70 plus, 80 plus. So that's pretty promising. Number 4, the duration of protection. Okay, so in point number 3, I was talking about the efficacy. How well is it going to protect someone from getting shingles? Duration is how long is that person going to be immune and how long are they going to be protected for? So with Zostavax, you're looking at up to 5 years, and some would suggest up to 7 years. With Shringrix, over 90% of the efficacy is maintained for at least 4 years. And then there's some evidence to suggest, based on antibodies, that protection may be up to 9 years. Number 5, administration. So as you know, Zostavax is a subcutaneous injection, preferably in the deltoid muscle. However, Shringrix, on the other hand, is an intramuscular injection, also preferably in the deltoid muscle. Number 6, side effects. Unfortunately, Shringrix is associated with some notable side effects to keep in mind. So in the trials, over 85% of those who received the vaccine experienced pain on injection, and about 50% experienced myalgia, fatigue, and headache. Now, that doesn't seem to be as prominent in Zostavax, although there's no trials to compare the two. But with Shringrix, those side effects tend to last on average about 3 days. So there you have it. That's Shringrix in a nutshell and how it compares to its competitor, Zostavax. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something. If you're looking for more information, you can find it in the links below. Feel free to subscribe and see you next time. Bye, pharmacists.